The years Jesus disappeared. Why were the 18 years not told in the Bible? When you take the Bible in your hands and read it carefully, there is a massive gap that most people never notice. The Bible tells us about the birth of Jesus, Mary, Joseph, Bethlehem, the angels. Then we see Jesus at the age of 12, standing in the temple, speaking with scholars, astonishing them with his wisdom, and then a huge silence, a silence most people never realize. This silence lasts 18 full years. When Jesus reappears, he is 30 years old. He is baptized. He is purified. He begins teaching. He performs miracles. But let us ask the real question. Where did Jesus go after the age of 12? What did he do during those 18 years until he turned 30? And why does the Bible say nothing about this period? This video was prepared to explore the greatest mystery in Christian history, the untold events, and the long silence. The greatest disappearance in the Bible. All four canonical Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, tell the same story. Very little is said about Jesus' childhood. The narrative suddenly stops after age 12. It resumes only when Jesus is about 30 years old. This was not a simple detail. This was an extraordinary absence. I researched this topic deeply for you. This silence was intentional. Historians even gave this mysterious period a name, the lost years of Jesus. And these years have created not only curiosity, but a serious theological problem throughout history. Because Jesus' teachings were not ordinary, they were deep, they were universal, they cannot be explained only through Jewish tradition. They concern all of humanity. So where did this wisdom come from? What does the Church say? The Church has given the same answer for centuries. Jesus stayed in Nazareth, worked as a carpenter, and lived a simple life. But how logical is this explanation really? This answer leaves many questions unresolved. How could an ordinary carpenter gain such deep knowledge? Where did Jesus learn these teachings? Why did he speak using concepts that resemble Eastern mysticism? Why did he speak of inner kingdoms, knowledge, and awakening? Because of this, historians began searching for answers in alternative sources. Jesus and the Essenes. In 1947, the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls shocked the academic world. These scrolls described a mystical Jewish community known as the Essenes. They lived in the desert. They rejected wealth and possessions. They believed in purification, fasting, and silence. They were waiting for a Messiah, and pay attention, Eunice. Their teachings almost perfectly match the words of Jesus. Many scholars ask, could Jesus have lived among the Essenes during his youth? Is this just a theory? This could explain his silence, his discipline, his deep moral understanding. So why didn't the Church highlight this possibility? Why was it never taught? Was Jesus a traveler? Some ancient texts go even further. According to these writings, Jesus was seen, not only in Palestine, but also in distant cities, and even in eastern lands. The claims about India and Tibet are especially fascinating. The Issa. Texts and the India claim. In the 19th century, some European travelers reported finding strange texts in Indian monasteries. These texts speak of a wise man named Issa. Issa came from the West, lived among the poor, rejected violence, taught compassion to humanity. Does this description sound familiar to you? Some claim Issa equals Jesus. This is not definitive proof, but it shows us something very important. The life of Jesus may not be limited to Western sources alone. Eastern influences in Jesus' words. Jesus says, "The kingdom of God is within you." This statement aligns perfectly with Buddhist teachings, Hindu scriptures, Gnostic philosophy. He also says, "Whoever knows himself knows the truth." This statement does not exist in classical Jewish teaching, so this question becomes unavoidable. Was Jesus only a religious figure, or was he a universal cosmic teacher? Why does the Church avoid this subject if Jesus learned from different cultures, did not receive his knowledge from a single source, was a truly universal teacher? Then this becomes a threat to institutional authority. Because in that case, salvation is not owned by a single institution. An intermediary is not required to reach God. Faith becomes a personal journey, and at this point, history falls silent. Does this destroy faith? Let's be honest. Do these ideas destroy Christianity? Absolutely not. On the contrary, they present Jesus as deeper, more human, more universal. Perhaps the true power of Jesus was that he was never afraid to question. Why does this matter today? Because modern people are asking a powerful question. Do we really need an intermediary to reach God? The lost years of Jesus may hold the answer. If he walked this path alone, then perhaps we can too. Maybe those 18 missing years were not empty at all. Maybe they were the most important years of his life, years in which he learned, searched, questioned, prepared. And at the age of 30, he was ready. Closing. If this video gave you a new perspective, if it made you ask questions about Jesus you had never considered before, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments, because on this channel we will continue to talk about what has never been spoken. May God protect you. Stay with us to keep learning.